Alrighty, you know by now, when you're working with me, don't pay any attention to that round four or race 4 out of 11 Weedsport. Still haven't figured out how to change that to Knoxville. I swear it's typed in Knoxville on my end, but we're here live for the Pro Late Model Dirt Series here on Coast to Coast Racing. We should have the Xfinity broadcasted in the next race. I believe the normal broadcaster is going to try to be back by then, but if he's not, worst comes to worst, I may have to mess with my audio a little bit so you guys can hear me when I race because I don't have this thing on push to talk, and I'll have to make sure my wife's quiet while she's sitting beside me on the couch playing Xbox. But we'll give you some type of view of the race no matter what. But right now I'm your points leader for the Xfinity, so I am 100% going to run that thing as we're watching Connor Ross total a Gambler Motorsports car. That's not going to make John Hine very happy. Going to have to dive in for a backup car here quick before qualifying and see all the cars disappear. That's what's happening. We're going to go off to qualifying here. Kick off. Let's see if who we can get on the track here. Got John Hine pulling out. Let's take a lap with John Hine. He was your quickest car in warm-ups. See John Hine really trying to not going to run the bottom like we've been seeing in the small blocks and big blocks. He's going to run that kind of middle. You're going to see him maybe go down a little bit here in 3 and 4, but just going to basically commit to that middle. Let's go outside. Let's see how it looks here as he's done. Lap number 1. He's going to be second with an 18.72 right now. Your fastest time is going to be Brandon Templeton with an 18.63. Now, new time. This should be no surprise to anybody tonight. Anthony Morano's been one of the quickest guys out here all evening. He's got the iRacing paint scheme, I believe. Yeah, because I have trading paints on, so he's just running the old school iRacing paint scheme. He shows that's all you need to get fast around here. Mark Gilbert run your third fastest lap. Blake Chapman currently P5 right now. This lap, not going to improve. Going to stay right where he's at in P5. Gavin Chatham right now, P6 on his second lap. Going into turn 3. He's not going to be real happy with that entry. He got a little loose. You want to keep these things as straight as you can to really get speed. And that's going to show in the lap time. It's going to be, well, actually only 100th of a second slower. So he is definitely going to be kicking himself for that entry in 3 and 4. He may have had a faster lap. Dan McLaren out here still turning laps. But that's going to be all for qualifying. Going to bring you off here to Full Throttle Motorsports Heat Race number 1. On the poles, going to be Connor Ross in the 35 outside his teammate and owner of Gambler Motorsports, my boss, John Hine. Inside of row number 2 is going to be the 31 of Brandon Templeton. 31 of Brandon Templeton. Outside of him is the number 32 of Anthony Morano. Inside of row number 3 is going to be the 218 of Kurt Schatzer. Outside the 88 Soupy, Dan McLaren. Inside of the last row number 4 is going to be 713 of Jacob Brown. Outside, Roland Olson, who did not make the grid. So no Roland Olson, doesn't look like. But wow, Anthony Morano, your pole sitter. You know we do the inverts. He's going to have to start 4th. This is going to be one of the toughest heats to overcome that pole position. He's going to be happy he got the bonus points, but wow, this is going to be tough. Got 3 of the best in front of him in late models, and Connor Ross is about to lead us off here for the green flag. Watch up here from the spotter's deck as they go off into turn 1. John Hine with a good restart. Better start than Connor Ross. Connor Ross able to fight back in the middle of the corner, but John Hine able to get a good run coming out of 2. John Hine looking to pinch him off a little bit on entry. Make sure he enters low, can't carry in that speed, and it's going to work. He's going to clear Connor Ross, and we have a new leader at the line. Lap number 1, John Hine. All over him, Anthony Morano in the 32, looking to go for the three-peat tonight. A lot easier to do if he can start on the pole. He said he needed to learn how to qualify in the small box. Well, he knows how to qualify in the late models, but does he know how to pass his way to the front? Battling back here for the final transfer spot. Dan McLaren in the middle, 3 wide. Kurt Schatzer on the bottom. Brandon Templeton up high. Kurt thought better of it, backed out. Going to slot in line, look to get him another lap. But Dan McLaren is still fighting hard down here on the bottom, trying to keep this final transfer spot. Back up front, Anthony Morano looking low on John Hine, not able to complete the pass, and this enables Connor Ross to get a big run on the back of the 32. Gives him a little bump going in the corner, not enough to get him squirrely. Going to both hold their line, and it's going to help John Hine pull away a little bit, though. Top 3 under a blanket. Battle is for 4th. B-Temp, slider, able to clear Dan McLaren. Dan McLaren going to try to look back, but Brandon Templeton says, no way, I'm going to shut the door, Dan. And he's going to lead it, or take the position here coming off of 2. Or coming off of 4. On the white flag now, John Hine looks to have it locked up. The battle on track is for 2nd and 4th right now. Connor Ross not able to look low, going to stay high. Anthony Morano looking low on John Hine. Coming out of 4, final time. John Hine's going to be your leader, followed by Anthony Morano, Connor Ross, Brandon Templeton, your final transfer, Kurt Schatzer in 5th, Dan McLaren in 6th, and they disappeared on me. Sorry, boys, for 7th and 8th. But let's go ahead and read off here grid number 2. Starting on the pole is going to be the number 5 of Isaac Salas outside, the 118 of Logan Wentz. Inside of row number 2 is going to be the 20 of Blake Chapman, the salesman. Outside of him, the 122 of Brian Dickens. Inside, we got Butters, Jason Butterfield in the 93 inside row number 3. Outside, in the 97, the new proud father, Butch Baker. Congratulations once again, Butch. And rounding out the field tonight, normally not a struggling qualifier like this, but he's not making the grid, so not sure what's going on. But Patrick Spangler should be rounding out the field if he decides to grid. Oh, sorry, I had to wet the whistle a little bit there, but just waiting on Patrick Spangler in case he makes the grid, but it doesn't look like he is. We see once the cars can move, the grid's cut off, and we saw Dickens roll forward a little bit there. So Patrick, if he does want to race tonight, going to have to come from the consolation. Well, we saw these two, Blake and Isaac, put on a hell of a battle in the big blocks here, the last race for 2nd and 3rd. And I look forward to those guys throwing it at each other again with little Logan Wentz and Brian Dickens in the mix. Don't count out those back two either. Jason Butterfield and Butch Baker know how to get down, and they're willing to, as we're waiting on Barney to drop the green so Isaac can drop the hammer, and the green is out, and Isaac dropped the hammer. Big, good start from him. He's able to clear and move up if he'd like to. Battle right now is for the final transfer position. Blake Chapman and Butch Baker. Butch Baker looking to the outside. Blake doesn't want to get himself caught again where he tried to battle too hard on the bottom early on in the last heat, and he had to come from the B main, and it's looking like he's trying to flirt with the alphabet soup again. I don't think we have enough cars for consolation, but he's flirting with it. He doesn't like finishing in the top 4 in these heats. He likes going for that hard charger, I guess. But meanwhile, Isaac Salas out front, able to pull away. Not really much heat from behind Logan Wentz. Logan Wentz is able to keep the gap, but not able to reel him in. You see he's running a lane higher than Isaac. Doesn't really... Oh, he gets hit from behind. Squirrely, not able to see who did it. We assume it was Brian Dickens. Oh, Butch Baker in the wall. That's going to hurt him. Right front's down. We're hearing More contact in front. Logan Wentz, Jason Butterfield. This is your final transfer spot, so you're going to see those guys beat on each other. But Logan Wentz all over Jason Butterfield really wants that final transfer spot. Isaac Salas out front loves all the battling behind. Able to really walk away as they're coming out of 4 looking for the white flag this time by. Barney's waving the white flag. Isaac knows it's time to win it or wear it. He doesn't want to mess up here. He's had a dominant car this whole heat race. He's got to hold on to it. The battle for 4th. Jason Butterfield and Logan Wentz side by side. Logan Wentz on the bottom. Is he going to be able to get a run? No, he's not. Jason Butterfield is going to beat him. Isaac Salas, Brian Dickens, Blake Chapman, Jason Butterfield, and Logan Wentz, your top 5. Wow, what a finish. We have been treated to some amazing finishes here tonight. And that definitely was another one to add to the list. Let's give you your starting lineup here for heat race number 3. Dylan Kinsey in the 083 on the pole. Outside front row of 50 of Malachi Smith. Inside of row number 2, the 99 of Gavin Chatham. Outside the 017 of Mark Gilbert. I just realized, too, you guys have bared with me this whole time. My desktop audio has not been on. That's what happens when you're dealing with a rookie broadcaster, and I didn't check my messages, so apologies. But we will have sound now, and at least you got to hear me and my beautiful, wonderful voice carry on the race here. But my apologies, and the audio is back now. But where was I? Gavin Chatham. The inside of row 2, outside 017 of Mark Gilbert. The inside of row number 3, the 79 of Dean Reynolds, outside the 181 of Jeffrey Kemper. And not able to make the grid was Preston Cramner in the 07. Once again, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for the no sound the first 2 heat races, but at least I caught it before the feature. I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back here as Barney drops the green and Dylan Kinsey drops the hammer as he leads them off into turn 1. Able to clear Malachi Smith easily, but Malachi Smith looking back on the bottom here as we go through 3 and 4. Not able to get a run, though. Going to pull back up, and Gavin Chatham's going to think about trying something big on the bottom. But no run coming off the corner. That's really going to hurt his momentum there. As Mark Gilbert's carrying all the momentum on the outside, with Jeff Kemper looking in the middle, making it 3 wide. Gavin able to come up in front of Jeff. Got Jeff a little squirrely. That's going to move Jeff Kemper back to the 6th position, allow Dean Reynolds up to the 5th position. Now Dean goes to work on Gavin looking on the outside. But Malachi Smith slider! Oh, but he was not clear. That is going to make Malachi Smith very angry. He's going to go from first to worst there. Cars out here running. Going to go from 1st to 6th in 1 lap. That's a tough break for Malachi Smith as Mark Gilbert looks to walk away with this lead. 2 to go. Dylan Kinsey says, I don't think so. You're not going to run away with this one, Mark. I'm right here, and he may get something right back. As we've got half a mile to go. White flag. Dylan Kinsey looking to get a big run, but he's just not going to be able to do it. He's going to have to settle for 2nd here. And just hope Dean Reynolds doesn't come up with something big here to take 2nd away as Gavin Chatham tries to hold off 4th place at the line, and he's going to do so. Mark Gilbert, Dylan Kinsey, Dean Reynolds, Gavin Chatham, Malachi Smith, and Jeffrey Kemper. It's going to be your finishing order. We're going to go to warm-ups here. We're going to take a little break, and once again, apologies for the sound, but glad we got it figured out, and we'll be back here for your feature racing here at Knoxville. Alrighty, first thing we're doing this time is unmuting that audio so you can hear the roar of the engines. Make sure we have that off here for the end of warm-ups and the beginning of your feature. But right now, Connor Ross, your fastest car on the track with an 1867. Just did it his last time around, too. So we're showing that this track still has speed. And the top three are going to be Connor Ross, Isaac Salas, and Anthony Morano, with Brandon Templeton and Kurt Schatzer rounding out the top 5 in warm-ups. So they're showing that the track still has speed here. But let's go ahead and let's read you off your grid here. The start of the race. Starting off is on the pole is going to be John Hine in the 71. Outside of him is Isaac Salas in the 5 car. Inside of row number 2, the 017 of Mark Gilbert. Outside, the 32 of Anthony Morano. Inside of row number 3, the Brian Dickens in the 122. Outside, the 083 of Dylan Kinsey. Inside of row number 4, the 35 of Connor Ross. Outside of him, the salesman Blake Chapman. Inside of row number 5, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Outside, the 31 of Brandon Templeton. Inside of row number 6, the 93 of Jason Butterfield. Outside, the 99 of Gavin Chatham. Inside of row number 7, the 218 of Kurt Schatzer. Outside, the 118 of Logan Wentz. Inside the 50 car, or inside of row number 8, the 50 car of Malachi Smith. Outside, the 88 Soupy Dan McLaren. Inside of row number 9, the 97 of Butch Baker. Outside, the 181 of Jeffrey Kemper. Inside of row number 10, the 713 of Jacob Brown. Outside of him is going to be the 39 of Patrick Spangler. And I actually... So Jacob Brown, I see. But Patrick, Preston, and Roland, I don't believe that they are going to make the call. So it looks like we have 19 cars making the call. Yeah, Jacob Brown's going to be the last one. The other guys might be getting ready for some Xfinity racing at Phoenix. But we'll have to see about that. I kept saying the too when I was talking about John. I couldn't think of it. It's the Professor. He's my teammate. I couldn't even think of his nickname, but that's what I was trying to spit out there. I didn't want to seem like a big dummy, but the Professor definitely looking to get it done. He's tried to get back into a little more full-time racing. He's been busy with his job, but he's got a new job coming up, looking to get racing a little bit more with me and the other Gambler teammates, and he's looking to put a stamp on that with a win here tonight at Knoxville. So we'll have to see, but Fred's got the lights off in the pace truck, and he's going to be pulling it in the pits this time by as they enter turn 3. Go up top. Let's take a look at the spotter cam here. Let's watch it all through turns 1 and 2.
Green flag, green flag.
The green flag is out. Oh, car sideways. Notice too, the broadcast is a little choppy. I've been trying to clean it up on my end. Not too sure what I can do. I've been broadcasting since the iRacing update, but I do see that it's getting a little choppy. But bear with me. Hopefully that straightens out here. They were able to keep it, and they're still rolling. The battle's on for the front, though. Isaac Salas able to get in front of John Hine as the high side did prevail. Isaac Salas able to increase the gap a little bit between John Hine, but meanwhile the gap to third is huge. Blake Chapman up 5 spots already from 8th to 3rd, really looking to make an early run here. Other big mover, Gavin Chatham, up 6 spots, 12th to 6th already. So we've got some guys who really benefited from that early scrap with Mark Gilbert. He lost 4 spots. Brian Dickens lost 8 spots. Dean Reynolds lost 9. Connor Ross lost 12. So if we get a break in the action, we may have to go back and take a look at what happened on that first lap. A lot of mayhem.
Caution, yellow flag.
Caution is out. I may have jinxed us. Looks like Jason Butterfield. Let's take a look at this. Jason Butterfield, black car. Got loose, maybe something broke. Goes down and gets him the inside wall, and that's all she wrote for him. See if we can go back and maybe take a look at that mayhem on lap 1. Let's see here. Nope, that was when they were still going slow. Still there too. It's gonna give me every pass here under caution. Nope, we may have to sacrifice it. Just tough deal for Connor and those guys. Definitely some mayhem happened up front, and that's a tough deal for those guys. See here, I've been closing down some programs. Seems to have maybe helped a little bit. Not too sure what's going on. My quality's pretty good, and my PC should be able to handle it, but I might have the graphics tuned a little wrong now to do my broadcast after this new iRacing update. But I can say apologies for it, but I think it's good enough that we can see what's going on, but it definitely is a little annoying to the eye. Hopefully we'll get that FPS up for next week. But lights are off. Fred turned the lights off in the pace truck, and Isaac Salas chose the bottom. So John Hines going to need to get a good start here if he wants to be able to hang with Isaac here. Go back up top out of the spotter cam.
Green,
Isaac with another good start, able to really gap John. John's got pressure now below from Blake Chapman, but John's hoping he can get a good run here out of the corner. Clear Blake. Blake's not going to go away easy, though. He knows how to bottom feed. We saw it in the big blocks. Gained 16 spots, I believe, to finish second. So if anybody can run that bottom, it's Blake. And we're 3 wide right now for the lead coming out of 2. Blake Chapman still under John, ever so. Doesn't have the full car there, but I'm sure John knows he's there as he's leaning on Isaac, but he breathes out of the throttle and gives it a little break. But Blake's going to clear him for second spot at the line. Let's go back here in the pack and take a look at Gavin Chatham up 6 spots here in 6th spot, looking to get a run on Anthony Morano. Anthony Morano, your fastest qualifier tonight. Just not able to really get anything done here in the feature. Been stuck in line. Maybe waiting for a little bit of a track change, but as I say that, Anthony gets the peak to the bottom of Brandon Templeton for the first time. We'll have to see if he can keep up any momentum and get the job done. Let's go on board here. Able to really keep it on the bottom, but just gets pinched here on the exit. Can't float up. Now he can, as Brandon's able to clear him. He doesn't want Brandon to be able to clear him. He'd rather be pinched down there on the bottom. He's trying to get it done, but boy, is it hard to pass on the bottom right now. But Blake Chapman's showing you can get it done. It just takes a lot of will and a lot of patience, because Blake looks to have maybe cleared Isaac in the middle of the corner, but Isaac fights back with all that speed coming out of 2. Isaac Salas trying to fight as hard as he can in 3 and 4. Seems like the bottom just isn't there for 3 and 4 like it is in 1 and 2 for Blake. Blake gets a good run in the middle of the corner, but Isaac really screams back on the outside. The top's really starting to prevail. John Hines coming back to the center. Brandon Templeton also peeking there in the picture, trying to maybe look under John, thinking about it, but doesn't get the run in the middle of 3 and 4 that he would expect it. He's just entering a little lower, driving in a little harder, but just doesn't get the drive off. As you see, they're 3 wide there for 3rd. Short-lived, though, as they have to back out as there's not enough room as John's there. John's looking to get a run on Isaac, but Blake is the story. 4 wide for 2nd. Oh, wow. Are they going to survive this? Contact! But they make it. They survive. Got John Hine a little squirrely. John's able to go, but the big hurt in that one is Brandon Templeton. Still up 5 spots, but he was up there in 4th, battling for 3rd, as Anthony Morano was able to clear him and get 4th place back. But Blake Chapman is your hard charger and your leader right now, up 7 spots. Isaac Salas says, Chapman, don't sleep on me. I'm coming back on the high side, Shaggy. Blake Chapman still fighting strong, coming out of 4, but it's going to be close at the line. I think Blake still does have it at the line. We're a little over halfway as we have 14 laps to go here. Oh, he got a car around. Mark Gilbert, no caution. Able to straighten it back up, but that's going to cost him a bunch of spots. He was involved in that early wreck on lap 1. Now has a little bad luck again. Now Connor Ross behind him looking to get one more spot back. Back up front. Isaac Salas, your new leader, but he gets loose up top. It's going to open the door back up for Blake. He's not going to get that run off of 4 like he was. And Blake Chapman, your leader again at the line here as we have 12 to go. Isaac, that run he gets out of 1 and 2 on the top is just phenomenal. Blake looks to fight back on the bottom, though. Get a good run out of 3 and 4 as we have a caution out. Caution is out. Let's see, Brian Dickens. Let's take a look and see if we can see what happened. 7. Oh, not too sure who that was. Jason Butterfield just gets loose. Let's go back. We'll watch that one more time here from Jason Butterfield's point of view. Just gets a little loose, comes down, and poor Brian Dickens. Nowhere to go for him. He's just the victim of that. But hopefully he has his quick repair. He can go in there and use it and get back out there on the track. But it doesn't look like Brian's going to do that. I think he loaded it up and put it in the trailer. But not 10 to go yet, so I imagine we will see a double file restart here. We'll find out for sure when they get the 1 to green. All right, lights are off. We are going double file here. We should, when we get the green, should have 11 laps to go, I believe. Maybe 10 to go, but give you an update here. But Blake Chapman, I'm kind of surprised Isaac gave him the bottom because Isaac can go off restart anytime he wants. And how fast Blake Chapman's been, I think you'd want to give John Hine the advantage of seeing you when you go and maybe fight with Blake a little bit. Kind of surprised at this lane choice, but that's what it is. Or maybe Blake did have the lead at the line. That may have been it too. Yeah, I guess Blake did have the lead at the line because he got the jump and Blake's off. Looking to run his line. That's why Blake took the bottom. And now John Hine, like I say, taking advantage of restarting when that leader does. Going to use up all the room. Going to put some of his paint on that 5 car trying to get second spot, but Isaac's able to clear him. Now John Hine's got a lot of trouble back there for that 3rd spot. Got 2 cars looking below him. Anthony Morano and Brandon Templeton. Anthony Morano with a big run. Going into 1. Going to look to clear John Hine going down the backstretch. Able to do so. John Hine looking for the crossover. Going to ride him up the track. It looks like they're 3 wide. Brandon B-Temp tried to peek his nose there, but John Hine not able to get a good enough run. I think Anthony Morano is going to clear him here for 3rd, coming out of 2 as we go back up to the front. Blake Chapman trying to pull away from Isaac Salas, but Isaac's got that fishing rod attached to the rear end of Blake, not letting him go anywhere, just trying to slowly reel him in. He knows that he doesn't have a lot of time. We've had a lot of cautions tonight, so once he gets this thing up to full song, he's got to go get him while he can get him. Take a look back here. Some of the battling back here for 8th and 7th. You see they're all up on against the wall. That's the place you want to be right now. That's where all the speed's at. Malachi Smith just trying to find a way around on the bottom, but it is so hard to do right now. Meanwhile, Blake Chapman trying to just walk away with this thing, but Isaac has just got it up against the wall, running it as hard as he can. Their last time by, Isaac was 0.03 of a second faster, but that's not going to be enough time to run him down. He's just running out of time, but he gets a big run out of 2. Gets in the wall a little bit in 3 and 4. That's going to cost him some time. Let's look at the lap times this time. Yeah, Blake Chapman going to pull away, and you saw Isaac had a way better turns 1 and 2, but just gave it away in 3 and 4. As you see, makes up time again in 1 and 2. He's just got to be smooth in 3 and 4 as he gets over the bump, gets in the wall again, and you're going to see Blake Chapman extend that lead a little more. With 4 to go, Blake Chapman has been your fastest car on the track the last 3 laps. That time gapped Isaac Salas by 0.2 of a second. Anthony Morano is slowly reeling in Isaac, but once again, just not enough times. Looks like this is going to be your top 3, barring another caution. We do have a new hard charger, Dan McLaren, up 9 spots, up to 7. Oh, and we got the caution. Let's see who it is. Not too sure. Let's take a look. Maybe Connor Ross and Malachi Smith gets turned somehow. Let's go take a look at that. Go back and try to get on board with Malachi here. He's just going to get hooked by, can't tell who that was. The 118, so Logan Wentz. And that's going to total 2 race cars. As we're seeing it in slow motion here. Connor Ross goes up there, nowhere to go. These things are hard to turn if you're not on the gas, and he tried to stay in it and gets collected. Tough break, but you know, this is kind of what Isaac needed. We've seen Isaac be aggressive before, and this is where his aggression is maybe going to pay off. If he can get a good restart, he needs to go in there and maybe feed a bumper to Blake if he wants to move him out of the way, because Blake is bad fast on the bottom right now. Should have the one to green area. Fred's pulling off. And Barney's throwing out the green flag as Blake Chapman gets a great jump here for hopefully the final restart. A natural green-white checkered as there's 2 to go. Anthony Morano looked low on Isaac Salas there for a second, but Isaac Salas going to get a big run out of 2. Be able to clear Anthony and go back to the bottom. Going to throw that slider line in 3 and 4, trying to gain as much ground as he can on Blake, but Blake's already got that gap up to almost half a second, little more, and we're on the white flag. It looks like it's going to be the salesman's race, barring a mistake. Isaac Salas going to go in there, gets him a little squirrely, but jams the brakes. Didn't want to do it like that. Maybe going to cost himself second. Blake Chapman at the line's going to win it. Anthony Morano 3rd, John Hine 4th, Gavin Chatham 5th, Brandon Templeton 6th, your hard charger Dan McLaren in 7th, Dylan Kinsey 8th, Butch Baker 9th, and rounding out the field rounding out the top 10, Dean Reynolds. 11th going to be Mark Gilbert, 12th Jacob Brown, 13th Malachi Smith, 14th Jason Butterfield, 15th Connor Ross, 16th Logan Wentz, 17th Kurt Schatzer, 18th Brian Dickens, 19th Jeff Kemper, and that's going to be your final of the cars that actually gridded here. Go back and give us something to watch here while we bring these guys up. We were treated to another great race there. Blake Chapman showed how if you can keep the car on the bottom here at Knoxville at the end, just keep it straight and smooth, man, it is fast. And that kid, he hit his marks, and he proved why he's one of the best we got. But I see got all three of them in the waiting room, so let's go ahead and we're going to pull up Anthony Morano here, your third place finisher. Anthony, you got Zach in the booth, man. You got a copy?
What's going on, Shaggy?
Well, dude, it seems like deja vu. Been here all night, man. This is a great way to start Thursday Night Thunder week 1. 2 wins and a third place. Talk to us about the race.
Yeah, it's definitely I can't really beat that too much, I guess. Definitely tired out, man. Those late models are a whole nother ball game, but yeah, I tried down running the bottom. I think I got into Mark there a little bit in the first corner. It's kind of got real tight, and his rear end stepped out a little bit, and I just barely made a little bit of contact. If I actually I might have even neck coded because I didn't get an X for it, but I know it got real close. I didn't mean it, but yeah. Otherwise, it was. I think it was me, John, and Templeton were running there 3 wide for a few laps. That was a bit dicey, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, you guys were running 3 wide. You, Templeton, and John, we got it pretty good on the broadcast. And boy, you were doing a good job of keeping that thing on the bottom because those two, they were using each other up there in the middle. But you got by down on the bottom just minding your own business. And you were able to take 5 bonus points tonight, too, for the pole. Don't forget about that. That's a big thing. So, you basically almost finishing second with this. So, not a bad night. You got anybody you want to thank on the third place?
I think my wife Sherry, my teammates at FTM, Dino at Super Dirt Car, Logan at High Mom Lens, GripHack.com, DJ Sim Shop, Swan Speed, MDI TV. Zach, you for doing the broadcast and everyone at Coast to Coast.
Well, Anthony, congratulations and a way to cap off a wonderful night here in week 1. That's Anthony Morano in the 32 car, your third place finisher. Let's go ahead and bring up the man who almost got it done, the birthday boy tonight in the 5 car, Isaac Salas. Zach, man, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, man, you were really fast, and I'll tell you what, I appreciate that excitement on the last lap because I know what you did. You went in there, you drove it hard, and you could have got into him if you wanted, but you jabbed the brakes, and you made it look real exciting. So that's a classy way to finish a good race, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. I couldn't get that top to run the same way that that Blake could, run the bottom. So, it was fun. It was close. I tried to do something to make it interesting, I guess, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, it definitely made it exciting because I said there when you were Wonder Green, I was like, if anybody will go up there and lay the bumper, I was like, it'll be that kid in the 5 car. And you went up there, gave him a nice little tap, but you got on the brakes enough that you didn't, ruin his race. And you just let him know you were close enough there. It made it real exciting. But great finish, Isaac. And you got anybody you want to thank on the second place finish here?
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like a broken record here, but Venom Racing, Dean the Super Dirt Car Series, he even sponsors my late model of all things, so that's pretty sweet. Magnum Race Designs, Got Your 6 Racing Network, RSN Trackside, everybody here in Coast to Coast, Mission 22, my Gramson Top Notch Trucking. Thank you for the broadcast, man. It's good to see you broadcast. I'm kind of happy you're not in the Xfinity race, so I got a chance in the Xfinity, so that's exciting.
Well, I hate to take that happiness from you, but there was no chance
way.
I was missing that Xfinity race with being the points leader. I
Right.
told Roger, I'd happily do it from the car.
That's what I'm saying. I was looking,
if I
and I was like,
wreck,
perfect.
I'll go finish the broadcast. But I think I got a message there during the last race that we're just going to go with no broadcast in the Xfinity. So it'll just be
There you go.
a bragging rights on the line tonight.
Yeah, bragging rights, perfect. And then, but yeah, I mean, I think other than that, just thanks to my friends. I know Cody's been in the room with me supporting all night, so that's been fun. Girlfriend Kelsey, my parents have been texting me, so and then my Gramps obviously. So it's been a good night.
Well, man, happy birthday and congrats on the second place finish. Nothing wrong with a night full of podiums, man. Hopefully
Heck yeah.
we have you back here in the well. Hopefully you get to. Hopefully we both finish on the podium in the Xfinity race. How about that?
There you go. Hopefully I'm in front of you.
All right, that's your hope, not mine. But good run, kid, and once again, happy birthday, man. But that's Isaac Salas in
Awesome.
the 5 car, your second place finisher. Let's go ahead and bring up your winner here tonight, the salesman Blake Chapman, able to get it done on the bottom again. Blake, Zach in the booth, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Well, dude, this isn't even your car, if we're going to be honest. So you kind of blew my mind. I talked about you saying that if anybody could do the bottom, though, it was you. But if we're being honest, that was kind of commentator talk. I didn't expect you to follow up on it. That was a great run, kid.
Thanks. Like you said, this really isn't my car. I haven't been in these things in a long, long time. But yeah, I was just, going into this race, going into the feature, into the warm up, and after running the first couple laps, I was just really, really slow through the middle, which is where everybody else was, and I assumed it was the fast line. And then when we got that first caution, I was starting on the bottom. I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna go down and run the bottom like I was in the 358s and the big blocks. And man, this thing stuck down there really, really good. I just had to drive it in really hard and let off the gas at the right time, and this thing just floated right around the corner, which is perfect. And yeah, I was fortunate enough to get Isaac there, and yeah, he's really, really fast in all these cars on Thursday nights. I would feel bad for beating him on his birthday, but I think he's done enough winning in on this Thursday night past season that I don't feel so bad. But yeah, definitely almost kind of surprised myself with the win here tonight.
Yeah, like I say, man, commentators talk. We try to make it interesting, but dude, you really blew my mind because reiterating once again, yeah, this kid dominates in sprint cars and stuff like that, but this is not his wheelhouse. So for you to come out there and have the runs you did tonight, coming from the B main and the big block, and just running the bottom in this pro late models when nobody else could do it. When you go back and watch the broadcast, nobody else did what you were doing. Anthony Morano was pretty close, but he just couldn't hook up out of two like you could. And that was a phenomenal job, Blake. Once again, congrats on the win, and you got everybody you want to thank?
Yeah, of course, I got to thank the family for watching and supporting. Got to thank the guys at the Kreitz Sim Racing team and the Can-Am Racing team. Got to thank Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding, Andy at A&J Custom Creations, and Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps. And of course, Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You know it's some of the best stuff out there. Don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off. And I got to thank you for putting this on, Zach. You do a great job.
Well, hey, Blake, I appreciate it, and it's always nice when a Chapman gets in victory lane. It's rarely me, but it's nice to see the last name in there. So once again, congratulations, Blake, and hopefully you can make a points run in these things this year.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Thanks, man.
Well, that's your winner, Blake Chapman. He's capped off the night with another great run, and I think that's going to be all for us here tonight. No Xfinity race broadcast tonight, but it was awesome bringing you the pro lates, and we'll be back with you on Monday night. Not too sure where we're at. Didn't do my best homework, but once again, I'm Zach Chapman, part of Shaggy TV, and just like to thank you for joining us here on the broadcast tonight for Coast to Coast. We're going to sign off and see you next week. Bye-bye.